All regular Minecraft worlds have an infinite amount of blocks. However, this one, just one. I'm going to be attempting my next 100 days challenge on this singular block. To be fair, I do make an island at some point. Also, this video is close to an hour long, so it's kinda considered a movie. And since you guys all said that you liked this video length, I'm hoping for a ton of likes on this video. Maybe consider subscribing as well since you're down there. We're already headed to 200k, and I'd love for you guys to be a part of that. But other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I take on OneBlock Skyblock. Alright, day one, I'm on a singular block, and I broke it, and it did block stuff. Then it spawned a chest with a couple apples in it, and I continued not falling off. After breaking the block a few more times, I was able to craft some slabs and extend my island. Then a very tasty looking man spawned, but I figured I wouldn't kill him because I'm probably going to need him later. I continued slowly breaking the block until it told me that gravel and sand will still fall. From there, it gave me some water and I had to go underneath the one block to make sure that nothing would fall through. After that, I was getting back to what was important, making a solid foundational home for this piece of bacon and I, as well as seeing what else this block has to offer. After a long enough time, the tutorial did end and I was finally on to the next stage. In 10 seconds, I will be moving on to the plains one block, which is technically like the same thing as what I was just doing, but just now it's labeled plains. If you guys have somehow stayed away from the topic of one block on YouTube and don't know how this works, there are different stages that I progress through as I break this block. It's not just me in the plains or in the tutorial realm with this pig the entire time. Eventually, I will progress far enough that I will be able to fight the Ender Dragon while only on one block. Okay, well, no, the dimension of the end isn't one block, but you get what I mean. Then I spent the rest of the day mining the block while animals continuously popped out of it, as well as finishing up one of the platforms. This area right off the start was meant for animals because otherwise I'm not going to have anywhere to store them. So I did an outline with wood and then I did the center with dirt, hoping that one day I'm going to get a grass block to place in here so that that'll spread. And maybe eventually I'll get a different wood type that I can use to make this thing look a little bit better, but for now, oak wood is just going to have to work. Before we go more into this video, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Dragon City. Dragon City is a free-to-play mobile game that is available on all devices. There are thousands of dragons with unique elements and rarities that you can collect. Train your dragons and teach them new attacks in order to make them more powerful in battle, as well as grow your empire by breeding 2 dragons together and getting one much stronger. Along the way, collect food, gold, and gems to level up and decorate your island. Take part in PvP fights where you can challenge your friends and other dragon masters to see who's really the best. Get those wins under your belt and become the leader of an alliance. Interact with other Dragon Masters and join exclusive events where you can unlock special rewards. They've also added several minigames that you can participate in weekly, as well as claim prizes and new dragons from the Battle Pass. You can even collect dragons from your favorite YouTubers such as FaZe Rug, Wisp, and the Sidemen. Download Dragon City now by clicking the link in the description and get a special free starter pack of 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the new Snowdrift Dragon. Do you have what it takes to become the next Dragon Master? I'd be interested to find out. Again, thank you to Dragon City for sponsoring this video, and now back to your regularly scheduled program. Day 2 was me spending my time pushing animals from my current platform to their pen. It was probably one of the hardest things ever because these guys didn't move. They were not sentient at all. I was the only person doing all the work, and that's not fun. But you know what? On the upside, we have a mushroom, so I have infinite food for the rest of the series, and, you know, probably never have a farm big enough to feed all these guys, so they're probably gonna start. You know what? Let's not think about that. After that, it was back to mining this one block, and by the way, I'm also on Stone Age now, because by the end of last night, I finished it. I just forgot to tell you. So yeah, I'm on Stone Age, stone tools and all that kind of stuff. Let's go. Then after a long day of hard work, a creeper decided to spawn on me. That was not very cool, but I dealt with it accordingly. Thankfully, I have a bed now because I can shear my sheep and all, so yeah, that wasn't a big problem. Day 3, I don't have much to offer. I continued mining a very long time just so I could get enough material to finish off the animal pen. The fence wasn't fully done and I was worried that they were going to escape and fall off the map, even though they don't seem to really walk that much. And by the end of day 3, I was moving on to the Arctic stage, which meant a lot of snow and probably a lot of bad mobs, including strays, which will give me slowness. You know what? I don't even want to think about it. Day 4, I mined until I had enough materials to start my next platform, as well as do some decorations on the current ones, which I finally had enough spruce to do. My next platform was much bigger than I anticipated, and I did not have enough wood to finish it, so we're about a fourth of the way through. But I was able to plant some trees here so that I can get some more wood to finish it off earlier. Then by the end of the day, a large spruce tree grew, and I knew I'd be set on spruce for a while. Day 5 was pretty uneventful. I sat here mining this block in the Arctic realm for a very long time just so I could get enough wood to finish out this other platform. Eventually, by the end of the day, a couple trees had grew and I was only able to get the outline of this platform done. But I did have enough spruce wood to decorate the rest of all my other platforms, and then another giant tree grew and I was back to that. Day 6, I finished up the tree platform, which means that we can have a lot more trees growing at once, so I don't have to really worry about wood anymore. As well as I was able to do the spruce decorations on the outside to make it look even better. Then the biggest thing that happened the rest of the day was building another platform because, well, I'm trying to make this place symmetrical and another platform is needed for that to happen. Unfortunately, it's not finished as, again, the tree farm isn't producing much yet, but it soon will and I'll be able to have all my platforms done extremely fast now. Day 7, I continued the mining process in the ocean stage. I kept going till 2 turtles spawned, I got my first diamond, and then had to fight off some trident boys. I was really hoping for a trident from them, but I didn't think I'd get one, and I was right. Then my tree farm yielded me enough wood to finish up the platform from the previous day, and I started making another platform. Look, no one else has claimed this area. I'm just being the Christopher Columbus of the sky. Don't judge. I was only able to get the outline done because, again, my tree farm is like 4 trees, so making an entire platform with 4 trees is not possible. Day 8, I took deforestation to another high and cut down a ton more spruce trees. From there, I went ahead and outlined my farm and then filled it with dirt and placed a singular seed. That'll grow, right? After that, I finished my day by starting the outline of my chest room. Now, I didn't want to do any medieval stuff because it's 1 block, and I wanted to save all of that kind of building for when I was on the ground. So the idea now is open floor plans for 1 block, because I don't have enough time to think about, like, making big roofs and stuff like that. Plus, I think this building turned out really, really nice. Although it wasn't finished in a day, just like Rome wasn't built in an hour or whatever the saying is, and I have to finish it up the next day. And yes, that was a hint to what I'll be doing today. I started off by finishing the walls with some stairs and trapdoors, and then moved on to the roof, where I kind of took inspiration from my Duo's 100 Days world with winter, and I took some tower design and put it on top of this as like the roof in quotation. And then I decided to use prismarine as the block. I don't know why I did that, but I just figured it would look okay, and it did. I wanted to have some color in the house, and I would say that worked out pretty well. I then finished up the top of the roof with more spruce, and decided to do some interior stuff with stairs and trapdoors to make it look more like it's supporting something, because I'm gonna make a glass roof. Now, you may think that sounds disgusting, which I would have if I ever used glass. I never used glass as a roof before, but we're gonna try it. And overall, I labeled this day the best chest room ever. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know what? You guys can judge me down in the comments. And then after building an amazing chest room and giving you guys some good content for the last couple of days, I decided it would be great to cut trees and organize chests. Oh, you guys actually, you do want to see that? Okay, well then here, watch me organize some chests. No, you guys didn't, you clicked off? Oh, well, okay. Anyway, for the people who are still watching, day 11. And on this day, I decided to make a trap for the next monster party to spawn, okay? Because I knew that we were getting close. I hadn't had an aquatic monster party yet, and I knew I was going to start mining this block, so it would be best for me to make a trap just in case. And lo and behold, I continued mining this block for a long time, and a monster party spawned. Of course, it was guardians, it was trident guys. I might have had an elder guardian in there at one point, but they probably just jumped off, and it was a mess. The only way I was able to survive is going past my trapdoors and letting none of the monsters get to me. They didn't walk in the trapdoors, which I thought they would have, but they just kind of spun around for a little while and just let me kill them, so that was pretty interesting. And after that, I figured it'd be a good idea to put some water all around my islands, just in case I did end up falling off at any point, I could just get in the water and survive. That's not a foolproof plan, but it's at least a decent backup. Then we were back to everyone's favorite, deforestation, and ending off our day mining the block. The only interesting thing that happened was 2 fish's death. I'm not smiling, you're smiling. And on day 13, we finally completed the ocean stage, where I was gifted a trident, which means I didn't even have to get it out of those guys that spawned. From there, we went to the jungle phase, which I really didn't care much about, because jungle wood literally sucks, but hey, maybe we'll get some panda! Hint, this guy walks off the map. Then I was able to add some more glass to my house because this roof is still not finished. Thankfully, we're slowly getting sand as we go. And I finished the day mining the block. Mining away. I don't know what's that song? Day 14, I decided to put some of my resources and time into a sugarcane farm. I made another platform behind my current farm so that I could, have kind of a theme there. Laid down the outline, put in the dirt, added some water, and then boom, we have a functioning sugarcane farm. Hopefully this thing is going to grow a lot faster than my current farm because we are still not doing well on that front. I don't think these animals are ever gonna get fed. The next day, I was back on the mining grind. I wanted to get through this jungle stage as fast as possible because I was not interested in anything it could give me. And I was completely right because a monster party spawned with vexes, witches, skeletons, spiders, all of the above, and it annoyed the heck out of me. Everything was really easy to beat, but the vexes just kind of kept flying away. I mean, I guess it's not too bad of a thing because I don't really have to worry about them, so I can just sit here and mine again, but still, it's a little weird. Unfortunately, the rest of the day was just me sitting here, so day 16. Which was totally a day I decided to record, and it's definitely not nighttime, and I'm totally not mad about it. Anyway, I'll sum it up for you. I decided to take down my tree farm and make it a double-wide tree farm, so I added that extra platform in the back for spruce trees, and then continued to make another platform or keep my current platform for only oak. That's probably the best way I can explain it, and I'm really sorry I didn't hit that record button, but, I mean, it's kind of a mess up that's just gonna keep happening. I don't know. It's YouTube, all right? Just relax. And as you just saw, the sun of day 17 decided to rise, and I went back to mining, as I kinda just dealt with trees for an entire day. You didn't see that, but still, deforestation is something I do even off camera. I hit this block enough that it decided to give me a chest to tell it to stop, which I never will, and then we were upgraded into our next phase, which is classified as the Red Desert. However, I kind of view this more as a mesa because I was getting a lot more terracotta than red sand. However, I did check to see if red sand makes glass, and we are in luck. We can finally finish our roof. That was something I was worried about because sand was not happening. Thankfully, I could just mine this block today and get all the glass I need. And while discovering some really cool stuff from this phase, I spawned in a villager. Ian decided to wander around the island a little bit too risque, but that's okay. He can do whatever he wants. But being able to spawn in a villager on only day 17 made me realize that I'm gonna have to expand the island. If I'm ever gonna get a villager breeder going and or a villager trading hall so I can get diamond armor and diamond tools, then we're gonna need more land area. And of course, I'm just gonna build here instead of buying the land, because hopefully no one owns it. That's probably like a motto of some country, is hopefully no one owns this. Funny moments. Anyway, basically that just means that I finished up another platform so I can extend and make more area for villagers, because I don't want them near my base and they are annoying. So, well, they're a necessary evil. That's what we'll call them. Day 18, I continued to grow the farm and mine some blocks, okay? I was trying to think of an idea for the villager trading hall, and I figured maybe getting some of these blocks would help me think of something. Heads up, it did not, but at the end of the day, I did start working on extending the platform I already extended to. This time, I was gonna build something much bigger and much more room for me to walk around on, so yeah, I started outlining that guy. This one's gonna be a big project. And when I say big project, I mean it took me 3 days to make this giant platform. I obviously started off by finishing what I had finished by making more staircases from every single angle so that I could enter from any point, and then just continued to slowly make the outline. I wanted to keep the circle shape on opposite ends, but I figured connecting them was going to be the hardest part. Eventually, after having all the outlines done, I had to go back for more trees because that's just how this goes. And then it was back to trying to make the outline again. Basically, the next 3 days were just me going back and forth from tree mining, looking at Discord because I was bored, and making more of this platform. Then one night, a giant horde of zombies decided to chase me down because they thought I had tickets to the next Taylor Swift concert. Heads up, no one likes her anymore. I killed all those guys and continued working. The platform took way longer than I expected, but overall, it turned out really, really nice. I cannot wait to have all of this land to build on. Now, if you're paying a lick of attention, you notice that there are a few holes in between my platform and my other platform. So I went ahead and grabbed some cobblestone and andesite and then my bucket of water and figured I'm gonna try something. I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to make this world a little bit thumbnail worthy, so you guys, clicked on it, hopefully. And my idea for that right now is to add some really cool ponds in front of like this gigantic island. So what I did was make some rock platforms and more like a rock landscape so that I could put some water there and make it like a fountain, I guess. I switched up between cobblestone and andesite because I didn't really want to smelt stone, and somehow it still looked really good. Then I had a really interesting situation with the water, and I turned out I didn't like water anymore. But that's okay, because I figured it out, and now we have a really cool rock pond thing. How would you describe this? Please tell me. I mean, I don't know how to, but it looks really cool in my opinion, so maybe you guys can describe it for me. Then I repeated the same process on the other side, and now we have 2 really awesome rock ponds that lead up to an awesome platform where I'm not going to awesomely fall off. Yep, I know. I said awesome a lot, so I continued the bit. And after the completion of our platform, including these rock formations, it was time to start working on a villager breeder. We have some random villager wandering around right now, and he's gonna need a home. First things first, I started off with a failed attempt, and then I went to the real deal with spruce wood and oak wood, both stripped, and I included those aqua blocks like prismarine, and probably this one's also prismarine, but I don't know my blocks, so I'm just gonna say they're prismarine. I think you can tell the theme I'm going for after the whole chest room, because I'm doing like glass roofs now, and you know what, it looks good. It's more like a rectangle right now, but on day 25, I went ahead and finished off the roof by adding like the indent, no, what's the outdent in, I don't know the word. Basically, I used spruce stairs, slabs, and trapdoors to make it so that the roof goes out by one so the glass doesn't look terrible, and I think this building turned out really, really well overall. I also built the entire thing while watching a Sidemen Sunday video, so my distraction level was pretty high, and if you guys haven't watched the latest one, then I would recommend not watching it, because it's really good, and no enjoyment for you. Only me. And by day 26, I figured I'd given you enough entertainment, so I went back to mining the block. We're still mining in the Red Sands Desert right now, and I tried to muster through that as fast as I possibly could. It's not because I hate the blocks here or anything, it's just because when mobs spawn, they're terrifying. Speaking of that, I had a monster party. It consisted of husks, vindicators, and even some pillagers. Although I did come up with this really smart trapdoor thing that their AI just couldn't figure out, so it was pretty easy to farm them. Then I slowly forced a villager into captivity, his lifetime job where he can earn so much money. You remember the Bee movie? They had lifetime jobs, right? Day 27 was classified as a chore day. I filled up my bowls and was ready to hit the hay. Or, well, the wheat. I used my bare hands and grabbed all the harvestable wheat, and then I moved on to mining the block. The only thing cool that happened was a wandering trader named Ferda spawned. No idea where they went. I don't know what happened to them. And other than that, it was just mining the block. The next day, I went ahead and threw some bread at villagers, and then traded them a ton of sticks. The issue with these guys is that I need like diamond armor, so it's going to be a long time before I get that, which means I'm going to be trading with them for a long time, especially this guy, who's going to give me the armor after I buy so much useless crap. Which means that deforestation is going to be at an all-time high in this world, which I don't mind. After that, I figured it was time to extend my farming operation into another platform. This one I raised up in the middle of my other two farming platforms so that it would kinda look better. From there, we did our regular circle and filled it in. Overall, I'm just hoping that I have the dirt for this area because I did not think ahead when it came to dirt. And since symmetry is a man's best friend, I decided to make the exact same platform on the other side. I've explained this circular thing enough to you, so boom, there it is, done. The issue now is the dirt problem. I don't have that much, and I'm currently using it for trees, animals, farms, oh, and another farm. And now I need it for this third farm. Yeah, third farm. So once I filled in all that I could, I went around trying to scavenge as much dirt as possible. First stop was the sugarcane farm because I wasn't using most of it and the bamboo wasn't truly needed right now. After that, I headed over to the animals and stole an outer layer of dirt from them because I don't feed them anyway, so I mean, what's the point there? I was able to make a semi-okay wheat farm area for this platform, but I really do wish I had more dirt, and since even if I went to the nether, there's no dirt there, so there's like no biomes for me to get dirt from. It's only this stupid block. The next day, I finished up the farm, then used my diplomatic status to scam some villagers. Of course, they don't know what's going on because they live in a singular hut and will never see the outside world, but still, they give me free stuff that I don't actually want currently. And to continue my capitalistic behavior, I went ahead and deforested some more trees so I could get some more sticks so I can get more emeralds. It's a process that will persist a lot in this 100 days because, well, profits, but still, at this point, I should mention that I chopped down even more trees. Wait, if I'm living in a void, does that mean the trees are the only thing providing oxygen to the entire nothingness? If so, I should stop growing trees. We're recreating the Lorax now. Okay, so we're over 30 days into this, and I have mined a lot more than I should have. My island looks really good, but my character is not doing great, okay? We're still in iron armor. We only have 33 levels. Like, we don't have a lot of ways to do stuff when it comes to actual Minecraft. So for the next couple of days, I figured it was time to build something that everyone should have in their, well, I guess OneBlock world, or like super flat world, or a world where mobs don't spawn as often. Yep, that's a mob grinder. And where else am I gonna put a mob grinder but right behind my other mobs? Or animals. Mobs? Animals are mobs. But right before I went to do the mob farm, I ended up trading with villagers for half diamond armor, which means that we can now strip this of its enchantments and enchant it eventually. However, I don't have the facilities for that, so onto the mob farm. I made the giant circle, then realized that normal mob farms are a 2x2 on the way up, and that's gonna kill me because it'll be off by a block since everything here is odd, and that is an even build. So I decided to do a 3x3 instead of a 2x2 on the interior, and let's just say it took a lot more blocks than it needed to. Now, mob farms are not particularly beautiful, so I did switch between oak and spruce wood, but it didn't give it that much of a better vibe. Once I got to the top though, I only used spruce as that's what I had most of. Then I started doing the interior, which was the canals for the water, and then the top part for where the mobs are gonna spawn. Then I added the trap doors and the slab on the roof. Like, there's a large process to this whole thing, and if you guys don't know how to make a mob farm, then there's tons of tutorials out there, but I don't want to show you the whole process because it's pretty boring. Now that we have an active mob farm, it was time to get back to mining. We're in the nether phase, and I figured I'm gonna get some ancient debris. Okay, well, that was much quicker than I thought. I went ahead and made myself a diamond pickaxe so I could actually get this ancient debris, because I'm not sure if you can actually break it with an iron pickaxe, and I didn't want to test it, so diamond pickaxe it is. Then I continued mining and got another ancient debris. I don't know what's going on here, but I really like the nether phase. Except for when hoglins spawn and try and kill me. Thankfully, the trapdoors saved my life yet again. Honestly, probably one of the biggest brain plays I've done, but still, it's kind of annoying that they spawn. Nether phase is going to be one of those really good ones and really bad ones at the same time. Then while rummaging through some chests, I noticed that I had an evoker spawn egg, which I didn't really process when I got it, but that means that that's a guy with a totem. Okay, so maybe I didn't notice it, maybe Allie did, but still, it's a totem guy. So I instantly went ahead and spawned that guy in and killed him and got my first totem of undying. I don't know why I didn't even process the fact that I had this guy in my chest the entire time, but now I have a totem that's gonna help me not survive the void. But I guess if those hoglins come back, I'm good. The next day, I went ahead and used some sticks that I had gathered to trade with my villagers again because capitalism, or, well, more or less dictatorship for money. Then Henry and I were able to make a deal, and I got my full diamond armor. I mean, it wasn't good diamond armor, but it's diamond armor nonetheless, and I'm not too worried about things that are gonna spawn from this one block anymore. After that, it was back to some casual tree chopping because, well, you know what? You don't even need the explanation anymore. Then I decided to chop down my bamboo forest so I could feed an entire army of sumo wrestling pandas. Yep, I know how that sounds, but Poe is probably retired by now, and what else do you think he's going to be doing other than sumo wrestling? Okay, so you know how I said the nether block is going to be really good and really bad? Well, that became very apparent when ghast decided to spawn. They started blowing up and burning my house down, so I had to quickly craft a bow and kill them. I got the achievement Uneasy Alliance, but I don't remember ever allying with these guys. There's not enough money in the world to sign a contract with these hairballs. However, once they were kaput, I went back to mining the block. Eventually, I realized just how hard getting through this block is going to be, because I had the first monster party, which consisted of blazes, hoglins, piglins, and of course, ghasts. Taking everything out was a journey in and of itself, especially while my entire paste was burning down right in front of my eyes. And after all of them were dead, putting it out was another adventure itself. But once it was, I realized I had to fix so much of my area. Thankfully, everything is mostly symmetrical, so it's pretty easy to just copy and paste from one side to the other. For all the good this block gives me, it also brings along a lot of bad mojo. The next day, I remembered that I could actually have a voodoo doll of myself as my totem. Okay, it's not like that, but at the same time, I can also zoom in on the head of it and make it sound like I'm talking to you guys from my hand. Come on, give me some props, it's pretty funny. Then, while mining the nether block, the shaky ballsack decided to enter our world. So you can imagine my surprise when he didn't start dying. And by mid-nightfall, we finally finished the nether stage. That does mean no more ancient debris or netherite scraps, but at this point we have access to the nether itself thanks to all the obby we had to mine. The only way to describe this phase was picturesque. Everything I mined was perfect, literally ores, honeycomb, anything you could have imagined, and nothing bad happened. Then while mining, a bee decided to spawn and kindly got out of my personal space and flew underneath the map. I'm sure he's fine down there, somewhere. And that bee was not the only disappearance. I got back to my villager breeder and there were only 2 left. I had like 1,700 in here and I literally don't know where they went. I have a prediction that a zombie spawned and then the iron golem outside decided to kill all of the zombie villagers and now I'm stuck with only 2. I guess I'm technically lucky that the iron golem got to the zombies when they did because I still have 2 villagers left instead of 0. But at the same time, why, man? I could have cured them at the very least. Could I have? I have the stuff for that, right? I do. I could have cured them at the very least. Come on, man. Then I just put the rest of the glass I have on the roof and continued my day. The rest of my day was just filled with mining the block and doing some chores around the island. I would include all of it, but we're in the perfect stage where nothing bad's gonna happen, so the only thing interesting is just me swinging a pickaxe. So the next day. Day 39, I wanted to test whether or not my wood production could be more efficient if it was in the nether. So I made my first nether portal and headed in. It wasn't long before I found a warped forest and was able to start chopping some wood. Since the nether does technically have an infinite supply of wood, it is possible that it's better to just do all of my wood chopping in here and, well, democracy, capitalism, however you want to put it, for sticks so that I can become extremely rich. By the time that I was out, I had so much wood that I made it all into sticks, and you know what? It was quite a big amount. Unfortunately, since I just had, the zombie purge or whatever happened in there, I don't really have many stick guys to trade it to, so I guess these will just sit here for now. Day 40 was more of a chore day where I continued my deforestation efforts to get more capitalism with my villagers that were still in the breeding process, and then I kinda sacrificed an iron golem for iron. I know he did nothing wrong, but at this point, I'm kinda worried about how many materials I have. I don't think you realize how committed I am to being the richest person in OneBlock. Like, I actually spend days at a time mining wood. Like, literally no joke. So yes, I'm gonna say something about deforestation on day 41, because that's all I did. The next day, I realized how many villagers I actually had again, and it was time to do some more capitalism. These guys still think they're ripping me off when I'm trading them sticks for literal gems. Then, once I had a good amount of emeralds, I decided to start trading with the toolsmith. My diamond tools currently are pretty bad, and they don't have any enchantments on them, so I was just hoping for something better than what I currently have from the toolsmith. I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be to actually upgrade this guy all the way to expert or master, because, everything was expensive. The bells especially. At one point, he did give me some decent iron tools, but they really weren't what I wanted, and I did have to end up buying them to upgrade him. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but I also had to end up spending even more money on stone tools. Like, I think this whole capitalism thing needs to be rethought. I'm pretty sure this guy just scammed the crap out of me, but he did have some diamond tools for me at the very end, which were trash, but still better than what I had, technically. So I went ahead and bought 2 diamond axes from him and then left him alone. I feel like I've been scammed today. Since my entire emerald stock had basically just gone kaput, it was back to chopping trees. I swear, at some point in these 100 days, I will not have to chop trees for emeralds. But until then, here we are. Day 43, I took all of my hard-earned material and started scamming more Squidwards. After one of their own decided to scam me, I figured it was time to take from the entire village. It's nothing personal, if your nose is personal, then that's something. I did end up unlocking an efficiency 1 diamond pickaxe from the toolsmith, but realized that was also a really big scam. However, I bought 2 without realizing I don't have enough iron for an anvil, so that was completely useless. Again, the Squidward squad had gotten another one over my head, and I didn't even realize it till just now. The next day, I figured I would tackle this block a little bit more and see how far I could get into it. I have an efficiency 1 pickaxe and an unbreaking 1 axe, so I may as well see how far I can get. Overall, this place didn't have too much good loot, other than the fact that it was giving me ores more than usual. However, every block in it was kinda useless, and it was just like 2 or 3 blocks from every stage. The next day, I went back to the block mining because this was my favorite stage. The amount of resources that I'm currently getting from this thing is kind of nice. Plus, now that I was able to trade for a shovel, it's a bit easier getting all the materials. If you hadn't noticed, the other 44 days, I hadn't been mining this thing with a shovel, and every single block that required one was broken with my hand. The only thing that spawned were donkeys, which I had to kill for leather because I need an enchantment table, which requires books, and I haven't been breeding my cows, so sorry. And after that, some slime spawned, but they were kind of ill-important, plus I value materials over bouncy balls. Then at one point over the next couple of days, I realized that I had collected enough dirt from a few stages to actually make another farm, or better yet, correct my current farm. This bamboo farm was actually not really supposed to be here. I don't care that much about bamboo, and it looked really bad, especially with me using gravel as the floor. So I replaced it with dirt and started my fourth farm? I'll count the sugarcane as a farm. I still haven't gotten a carrot or a potato yet, so I'm still using wheat to breed all my villagers. The next day, I mined straight through to see if I could get to the next level. To my surprise, I'm on level 9, which means I'm in Desolate land. Somehow, I'm only one level away from the end, and it's only day 47. Thankfully, I still have a lot to do on this one block. Or, as it's turned out, a few blocks of wood. After a full day of mining, I realized that my villagers weren't breeding because they didn't have enough beds. So I went to my sheep and started shearing all of them. I did accidentally hit a mushroom and it was now a cow, but I mean, I have a few more mushrooms, so it's okay. Let's hope this amount of beds will get me all of the villagers I could possibly need. On to my next activities, which were dealing with the animals because, well, I needed to breed them at some point, right? And I realized that all of the sheep were kind of killing all of the grass, so I had to protect one little piece with some fences. After that, I broke some more trees, traded with the villagers, and then stumbled upon a supercharged creeper that came from the one block. Thankfully, I took care of it, then had to fight off 2 evokers, giving myself 2 more totems. I'm pretty happy with the fact that I have, well, more mini-me's, but at this point, the only way I'm gonna die is from falling off. Next up was enchanting. I figured it's been long enough, and all of my tools were in desperate need of an upgrade. My axe was really good with enchants, my pickaxe could have used unbreaking, same thing with my shovel, but any of it's better than what I've been using, aka Unbreaking 1 stuff. Then I cleared some of my gear from its enchants and decided, I hated all of the things I just got. Yeah, you noticed this too, right? It's all Fire Prot 3. That's terrible. Once I re-rolled it all, I got Unbreaking 3 on one piece, Prot 3 on one piece, and Aqua Affinity on one piece. So I don't know if it was better for me to keep the fire protection or not. Technically, the gear did get an upgrade, so I'll take it. After that, it was back to mining the block because I knew I was this close to reaching the end. Not that I'm ready for it or anything, but I figured I should try to get there. At one point, a giant train of silverfish decided to spawn on me, but they don't really do damage, so it was kinda cute actually. I had to fight off another monster party, but at this point, nothing really stops me. It consisted of silverfish, some skeletons, an evoker, obviously some cave spiders and vexes, but truly it wasn't that hard. The vexes didn't even have anything in their hands, so I knew that was gonna be pretty easy. Plus, totems are kinda my thing at this point, so collecting those was really fun. After that, I spent an entire day doing chores, which consisted of farms and animal breeding. Nothing too exciting happened until day 51 when I actually reached the end. Yes, that's right, I spent an entire day mining and finally made it to the last phase of this one block. As soon as I complete this stage, I will be able to go head on with the Ender Dragon. But first, I'm pretty sure you guys missed out on some villager trading, which means, you know what, I'm depleting the forest's population, or the sky floating trees population. Then I headed back to the Squidward squad to scam more of their noses. It's like stealing candy from a baby. Then I figured I'd dip my toe in one of Minecraft's true pleasures, rerolling a librarian until they give you what you want. However, what I wanted was undetermined. I wasn't sure if I wanted mending yet, but at this point, I would settle for something good. After a long while of repeating the exact same process over and over and turning down a lot of other really good books, I ended up on Unbreaking. So I sealed the deal by giving him some sugarcane because I did not have the book or the emeralds for this purchase. However, that book is going to come in real handy when I get the elytra. The next day, I grabbed all the gold that I could possibly find in any of my chests, including crafting some nuggets, and headed over to the Nether. I mined down to a lower part where I thought I would find more piglins, and well, I was correct. Once I got down there, I put a couple in a hole and started trading with them. Reason being is I needed leather so I could do lectern kind of stuff because I'm going to start doing villagers and I don't have the required materials since I haven't been breeding my animals very recently. I did end up leaving the Nether with a lot more leather than I expected. They kind of just gave me that instead of anything else, so I had almost like a half a stack of leather. Then I went ahead and just placed a ton of lecterns in the villager breeder so that I could have some librarians if I wanted to re-roll them. Next up, I felt like wood was getting kind of scarce, so I went ahead and did more tree chopping. What are the odds? I know you want to hear these satisfying breaking sounds, but I'm just going to skip past this part. Day 56, the block was actually pretty fun to mine. It had a better aesthetic than most blocks, just probably because it kept to the end. At some point, I made an anvil so I could combine my current pickaxe with an unbreaking pickaxe and got a really good god pickaxe. Along the way, a couple endermen spawned and I was able to get some pearls, but right now I don't really need that as I'm sure this thing's gonna give me enough pearls to go to the end. As well as getting through this block, there were a few endermites that spawned in the same silverfish train as we're all used to. Thankfully, these guys don't do much damage. And that was the same process that happened while I continued mining this one block. The next day, one of the first blocks that I mined actually ended up being a monster party. This included the usuals like endermites, endermen, some shulkers, and overall just easy mobs. I say easy, but in real Minecraft, I'd probably be pretty terrified if all of these mobs spawn, but in reality, my gear's gotten pretty good. Once that was over, I continued mining the block as usual. After a pretty long day, I finally went blind due to the fact that the ender portal had just spawned. I got my benevolent gift and was given all of the eyes and the pearls that I need to enter the end. Unfortunately, the portal spawns directly under the one block, and I don't have a way to get down there currently. Before I even had time to process this though, it went into its final forever stage. This was called the after phase, where it combined all previous 10 phases into one, meaning I could mine this until, well, forever at this point. Then I had a pretty ingenious way of getting down there, which meant extending more platforms. The next few days, I continued carrying out this idea. I basically made a staircase all the way down to another platform that was on the same level as this end portal. And I continued the circular shape all around so I could do 4 different staircases as I needed symmetry. Then there were platforms in the middle that led directly to the end portal so I could get there, obviously. And after way too long, it was finally complete and I had 4 symmetrical areas so I could get down to this portal. I know how weird that sounds, but yeah, I want a lot of things to be symmetrical, okay? Relax. Then I finished off day 60 by harvesting all the farms that have grown in that amount of time, which is literally all of them. And you know what? You're lucky I didn't, do more tree stuff, because I would have done it. I would have done tree stuff. You guys would have liked the tree stuff too, huh? I know you would have, you weirdos. Anyway, from there, I started working on a sword, aka I need a sword for the mob grinder. My first ever attempt, I only got unbreaking, and probably wanted to break my monitor, because it didn't have unbreaking on it. After that, I did grind some mobs and tried again, and actually got unbreaking 3, sharpness 3 this time, so I was okay with that. Then I started organizing some blocks for an iron farm concept that I have, which actually never came true yet because I'm still recording this video while editing, but we'll see. That included me having to go to the Nether and grab more crying obsidian from these piglin men because, well, I wanted another purple block. And I spent the rest of the day outlining my villager trading hall, which is going to be very similar to the breeder, just a little bit different color-wise. This one includes spruce, oak, and quartz, as well as some of the nether stuff because it's opposing to the aqua area, which, I mean, it makes sense to me, but overall, it's looking pretty slick. The next day, the focus was the interior of this place, which included adding windows and stripping some logs. As well as I started outlining the villager stands, so where I'm going to be holding them for the rest of their life, I guess. Then I went ahead and made a pretty cool chest area, and then had to shear some sheep so I could add carpet to this place. It could definitely use some color in here, so I added in some red and purple and white carpet. I don't know what it is, but I just love this checkerboard pattern in the carpet, and I will always use it. The next day, all I did was work on the roof of this building. This time, I wasn't watching a Sidemen video to get me by, so I was a little bit more focused. However, the roofs of these places are always really complicated, and especially since I don't have glass right now, I kind of have to work around the fact that I don't have all materials. I used the normal stairs, slabs, and trap doors on the outside so that it bumped it out a block, and then continued on the top where I would add in blocks that I thought would look cool, such as magma, quartz, and nether brick. And I finished off the top with more spruce stuff, and I think it looks pretty good. I spent the entire next day moving 8 villagers in the Great Villager Migration. Basically, I took them from the breeder and put them in their forever home. And as you guys know, boats go in water, not on top of wood floating in the sky, so it took a while, but that's literally all I did today. After getting the villagers into their, well, technical forever home, I had to get them into the one block they'll be standing for the rest of their lives. So I slowly corralled all of them into their own separate areas, and then tried to give them jobs. Yep, this was a mess. For some reason, every time I tried to give a villager jobs, it wouldn't work, and another villager would want that job, but they weren't near the thing, so I don't know what was going on. Eventually, I crafted all the jobs that I was going to be using, so 8 different things, which included armorsmiths, toolsmiths, and librarians. Then I put all of those down at once, and villagers did start accepting jobs finally. At that point, I thought they were just fed up and finally accepted life. As soon as a villager I wanted to have a job accepted it, I instantly locked their trades. The hardest ones are definitely going to be the librarians, because they still don't want their job, and when I give it to them, they want the other's job. I don't know what's going on there, but they're just really weird, and it's going to take a while, especially since I have to re-roll them a lot. Oh, did I mention re-rolling? Yeah, that's what I did the next day. First up, I wanted mending, so I re-rolled until I had that, which was a long process. Then I wanted anything between sharpness, prot, and efficiency. The next book I was given was efficiency, so I was like, okay, that's really cool, but I think the next one I should get is prot, which took me the entire day to do. Mending and efficiency happened within like the first 20 rerolls. Prot happened within the first 1,000. I don't know what was going on with this guy, but I finally got protection 4, and I even got it for 24 emeralds. That is a crazy good price, so I'm totally fine waiting the whole day for that. Day 67 was pretty boring. I started off at the breeder, trading with all the Fletcher guys for more emeralds. Then I headed over to the trading hall, where I started trading with the new guys so I could upgrade them to get armor and tools and that kind of stuff that I could always buy forever. Unfortunately, my emerald count has dwindled, and I'm really running out of ideas to get more. I know I can turn villagers and stuff like that, but at this point, we're really far into the series, and I don't know if I have enough time for that. So me upgrading these guys might be a slow process, or you just might see me mine a ton more wood, which, you know what, you guys probably like. Then I wanted to test out the OneBlock and see if it'll give me like more sand for a roof or anything at this point, but I truly realized that this thing is useless now. Unless I need something super bad that I can't find myself in the, well, minimal areas that I have, then there's no point to mining this thing because it gives you so many random blocks and you'll barely ever get the one you want. Day 68, I kind of failed to record a little bit, so that's my bad, but just know it was spent with me in the trees, okay? That's literally all I did. Remember how I mentioned when I needed more emeralds? Well, I figured the best plan of action to get more emeralds would be to build more trees. And to do that, I had to get 2 more platforms going first. So I spent my time making 2 more circular platforms to the left and right of my current spruce tree farm. These were going to house just as many spruce trees that were on the other island on these islands. That makes sense, right? Anyway, while looking over the void, I still get severely terrified. I don't know when I'm going to not feel... Wait, I need an elytra and then I won't feel terrified. That's right. I'm assuming you realize that after I built these platforms, I was going to go to tree chopping, right? Like you guys already took a mental note of that because I did that for the next day. Like I chopped down so many trees. That was my only goal, was trees. Why? Sticks. Why? Emeralds. Why? Dictatorship. Tree chopping got so intense that it kind of bled into the next day since I didn't even do the oak trees, and then more trees grew and it was a cycle. After that, I also had to finish up some farming jobs, so this was more of a chore day, but definitely needed. After I had this huge amount of wood, I had to turn it all into sticks so I could do some trading. I added in a ton more fletching tables earlier because, well, I want more fletchers because, you know, sticks, and that's what I do. And a lot of them had arrows as their trade, so I went around trading with the guys who didn't have arrows and then breaking all of the things and then putting them back down and then trading with the guys who weren't arrows again and repeating that process till all of them were stick villagers. I ended up getting a pretty decent amount of emeralds out of this, but again, it's still never gonna be enough because, well, I'm greedy? Nope, I'm just a dictator. Yep, you're right. Anyway, after that, I grinded the mob farm for a little while just so I could get some more levels, and honestly, it's kind of fun. It's like therapeutic to watch all of these things die, especially since none of them have hurt me really this entire 100 days, so that's good. Day 74, I did a lot of stuff that was really random just to prep for this iron farm. The concept I have is really cool, but I don't think it turns out very well. I started my day with more stick trades because that's what I do, and then I organized some of the stuff in my inventory to get ready to build this iron farm. By the end of the day, I had a very small design for the very end of it, kind of put on my island, and it looked really bad, but it'll look really good in a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to start work on our iron farm. Remember that really crappy cauldron I made? Well, boom, now it's upgraded. I think it looks really nice, and this is basically where like the iron golems are gonna fall into lava and burn. After that, I built up and started working on the platform where I'm gonna have all of the villagers, the zombie, and that's it? Yeah, that's it. Then I moved the villagers up there because, well, they're really annoying, so I did them first because that makes more sense to me. Then I got the zombie up there because, well, I mean, I need that guy too, and I named him Jeffrey. After that, I made the platform where the iron golems were gonna spawn and added in all the water and signs and stuff like that. I totally didn't ruin the lava, by the way, and have to go to the nether. We don't talk about it. Then after all of that hard work, it didn't work at all. Like literally, it didn't work. I don't know why this thing doesn't work, but it just doesn't. So I had this amazingly ingenious idea to add more villagers up top, so I added more rails, got them all the way up there, and it started working for a little while, okay? And the reason I say a little while is because after I slept one time, it stopped working. I've built iron farms in the past, and this is still like a good design to do it. I even tested it in a creative world, and it still just doesn't work in this world for some reason. Like, I think after 40 iron, it stopped working. I don't know what's going on. Is it too close to my other villagers? Is it too close to villagers that are spawning iron golems? Because if so, I can fix it in 200 days if you guys want that. If you guys want 200 days, make sure to hit that like button down below, because we're gonna hit for what am I doing? 50,000 likes. Yeah, that's a lot, actually. You know what? You guys can hit it. 50,000 likes for 200 days, and I will fix the iron farm then. Okay, so I just realized we're on day 80, and I have this portal that I haven't even gone through yet. So I decided it was time to make all the gear I need to fight this dragon. Obviously, I'm combining books right now, so I can have full prot 4 Unbreaking 3 mending gear in the end. Yeah, the end. Fighting a dragon, duh. And to do that, I had to, well, get a lot more levels than what I had. So we were at the mob grinder for a little bit. But eventually, I did have a full set of prot 4 and Breaking 3 diamond armor. Then I grabbed my bow, blocks, some other things that I think I'm going to be needing in the end. And it was time. I think I'm ready to finally face the Ender Dragon. 80 days later, and I've given myself enough confidence after breaking a singular block. And you know what? I could have done it on day 50. Come on now, you know me. Alright, day 81, I rummaged through my chest and grabbed all the pearls and eyes of Ender I'm gonna need for this portal. It is finally time I go and take on the Ender Dragon. I started as a man on a dirt block, and now I am a man ruling the sky. You know who else rules the sky? A dragon I'm about to clap. I jumped into the portal, and man, it looks great in here with shaders. First things first, I took out the covered crystals because, well, those ones are the most annoying. Then I pearled around and blew up all of the other crystals that they were trying to hide from me. The dragon thinks she's so cool, but let's be honest, I'm the better player here. After that, it was just bow shots in the air and then waiting for her to perch. As always, this thing is super easy and could always use a buff. If you guys haven't seen the Fantasy 100 Days, maybe go check that out real quick. But in that 100 days, the Ender Dragon actually had much more health than it does currently. Right now, the only thing it can do is launch me in the air, which does nothing because I'm just built different. The dragon took a little bit while to perch for the third and final time, but eventually when she did, I literally couldn't even make it in because she had already dragon breathed her perch. From there, I tried to get in as best as possible, but she flung me out and I was back in the air flying for my life, but again, I'm built different, so I landed the water bucket clutch. And from there, I pearled back in to see if I could hit her, but she launched me another time. I don't know what's going on with this dragon, but she really values her personal bubble. After that, I was able to just kill her with the regular bow because this dragon is literally terrible, and finally, I conquered the end. I grabbed all the XP, took the dragon egg, and then went to the outer gate. From there, I spent 4 days of terrifying travel trying to get to an elytra. The worst part about the end is the fact that you never know where, first off, your escape is, or where the heck this stupid elytra is. It always takes so long to find. Eventually, I did run up on an end city, but there was no ship. Fortunately, while looting this place, I actually noticed another end city where there was a ship. I don't know how I missed it, but somehow I did. Maybe my render distance was actually lower than 32 when I found this one, and I just cranked it up while I was in here. From there, I went to the new end city and finally got myself an elytra. You have no idea how happy I am, especially since I brought fireworks with me. So it shouldn't be that long to get out of here, right? Eventually, I did find an end gateway and was returned home safe and sound. 86 days later, and I have an elytra in OneBlock, which means I think I can survive here for the rest of forever. Now that I'm back home, I realized that I gave my iron golem farm a dimensional reset and they still didn't work. I have no idea what's happening up there, but it literally isn't working at all. So I had to take the entire thing down. The cauldron is currently still up at this point in the video. I don't know if I'm going to take it down or not yet because I do have a design that I would like to have there, but this iron farm just doesn't cut it and I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe you guys can help me down below in the comments, so make sure to let me know your thoughts because I have literally no clue what's going on with it. Okay, so over the life of this one block, we have actually gotten 2 wither skeleton skulls. And since I just beat the technical biggest boss in the game, I figure we should beat the boss that normally people do after it. Yeah, we're going for the wither in 100 days. So I grabbed all the gear I could possibly need and headed straight to the nether. After that, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump before I found a nether fortress. Now, I don't have looting 3 on my sword, so killing all these withers was a very, very long feat. And over the course of the last 3 days, I've actually found multiple fortresses. This is at least one of 3 that I'm sitting at right now. And while flying around in the nether, I actually did get the 3rd wither skeleton skull that I needed. I was actually going to pass by these withers, but then I figured I should come back and boom, he actually did drop a head. 3 days later, and we have 1/3 of what we actually need, and 2/3 of it are already in the chest at home. Unfortunately, when I went through the portal, I realized that it was raining when I got back. If you guys don't know, I've had a pet this entire 100 days, or at least most of it, and I named him Ballsack, and he was a Strider. Do you know what Striders die to? Yeah. Rain. As soon as I got back, I got to witness him die. I didn't have any blocks to cover him, and I don't even know what to say anymore. All I could do was grab an item frame and put his remains in that, and here lies Ballsack. I know it was a really bad name, but he'll forever live in my heart. I know we just suffered a loss, but it's time to make this game suffer a loss. I grabbed everything that I needed for the wither and headed into the end. Now, I have never done the trick to make it, like, not actually fight back underneath the bedrock, but I figured I'd try it. So I mined out the cavity and then, you know, set it up. As I placed the last skull, I realized that I actually did it first try, and I didn't even look this up. The wither was stuck underneath the bedrock and was not able to hit me no matter what it did. Man, I even brought potions to this fight, and this is like the weakest possible mob ever. After about 30 seconds and 12 hits to the tail, it died. Which means now I have a nether star, so I can make a beacon, but, I mean, this thing was absolutely terrifyingly bad. Once I got back, I did end up crafting a beacon, which means I'm going to either have to get a ton of blocks for a beacon, or maybe just a few and make the light so that it looks cool. Yeah, you guys are probably going to have to deal with a tier 1 beacon. Upon looking at this very failed cauldron, I figured it was time I take it down. The farm never worked, even though I wanted it to so badly, and I really love this cauldron design, but at this point, it's not worth it. This thing has been up for literally no reason at this point, so I just took it down. It was sad to see it go, but realistically, I can't have this on the island when it's not doing anything for me. Plus, I have a really cool idea that'll go right here. Alright, so day 93, we now have a beacon, which means I have a goal to get. First, I started off my day with grabbing some oak wood, and then making a small pond where I'm going to put the beacon. I added in some diamond, gold, and iron blocks to make it actually function. I don't have enough right now to make a full beacon, but right now I can at least set it to speed, as well as have that lovely beacon effect in the sky. Then I went ahead and moved my enchantment table over to this area and set it directly on top of the beacon. Reason being, beacon light can actually go through enchantment tables, and I figured it would look pretty cool, which it did. Now for the coolest build that I'm going to be doing in this 100 days, I started outlining this spiral effect around the enchantment table. I used spruce at first, but by the end of the day, I started using nether brick and nether wart to get some color. I wanted it to be like a rainbow spiral, so you know what, you guys will just have to see. The next day, I got back to work. I'm not going to explain the entire build to you because it's really cool when you see it for the first time. As you did already see though, I started off with red and started going through the color wheel, so like a darker red, light red, orange, yellow, that kind of stuff. The colors that I had to work with were very limited, but I did get a decent bit throughout these 100 days, so I was able to make it look semi-natural. I eventually made my way all the way up into colors like blue and purple at the very top, which just overall rounded this thing out very well. And with the beacon light, I think it makes it look so much better. Day 95, I pulled a grade A YouTuber and forgot to record. Yep, that's the sun setting right now, but as you can see, I added a bit of detail, including some glowing bulbs around the side to make it, well, even more magical. As well as if we actually go on the thing, there are some lanterns around it to make it light up during the nighttime. Hopefully you can't see them from the front. I mean, if you look at the back, you'll definitely see them, but still. Then at the very bottom near the enchantment table, I added blackstone and gilded blackstone to kind of make it look more corrupted. I don't know why I like this, but I really do. I think it's a great build, and I think it turned out so well. Day 96, I went ahead and chopped up some animals like I was a meat grinder because I was starving. Then after getting all that settled, I moved to the mob farm to see if I could finish one last task. As you know, all of my farms are currently made out of wheat, as that's the only thing I've gotten. But you can actually earn potatoes and carrots from zombies, so I figured I'd see if I could take the time out of my day to get a potato or carrot. At one point, I actually did finally get a potato, which meant I was able to plant a potato in one of my farms and grow it with all the bone meal I've received. And that's exactly what I did. I multiplied this potato tenfold and finally filled up an entire farm for just this one potato. To be honest, I did wish it was a carrot because those can go to villagers more than potatoes can, but at the same time, I'm happy I finally have another food source. With the accomplishment of finally finishing up another farm, I decided it was time to, well, do one of the greatest things I'll ever do in this 100 days. And that is the last day of tree chopping. I know, I spent a lot of time at the tree farm chopping down spruce trees, but let's be honest here. You guys liked it. So I spent an entire day at the 3 new tree farms that I have, chopping all of what I could down in a day. Unfortunately, by the end of this day, I still wasn't even able to get to the third one because there were too many spruce trees. I think if I do end up doing 200 days, 50k likes by the way, then I'm just gonna start dedicating like a 20-day period to wood chopping. Now I think you're off your rocker if you didn't realize the next day I went ahead and traded with the villagers. All that wood was not for me to catch up on, well, the materials that I don't have anymore. It was more for emeralds because I'm going to be upgrading one piece of armor or one tool that I have to netherite, so I wanted to make it perfect. Overall, I got around 4 stacks of emeralds and started making my trade with the trading hall villagers. I got another mending book and an efficiency 4 book, which I combined onto my axe because, well, it's been there since day 1, and what else has it been doing other than getting me wood the entire 100 days? Yeah, I'm putting it all on my axe. Then before I made my perfect netherite axe, I figured I should heal it up. So I turned to the mob farm where I got all of the levels I could possibly need to get the durability up on this bad boy. After that, it was a few blocks later before I changed my diamond axe into a netherite axe. Then I pushed a wandering trader off the map. Okay, I just realized my time is running out. The sun is rising on day 99. I have one last build to seal off the 100 days in OneBlock Skyblock, and I still have no materials for it. I want to make a small shrine to the dragon egg, but to do that, I want to use obsidian, so I jumped right into the end. Then I flew to the top of one of these gigantic obby pillars and started mining. I spent more than half of the day up here. More than half, which means my time for building was limited. As soon as I returned home, I rushed to accomplish the goal that I had. First things first, I wanted the dragon egg to look like it was corrupting our land, like always. And I put it on its own purple pedestal because, well, it makes it look a little bit unique. Then I added obby all around the outside as well as end stone to make it look like the end is leaking through. Then I added 2 claw-like spikes to the side because I wanted it to look like it was bringing the end here. After that, I added some extra details around our corruption area and added some shroom lights. If I had end rods, I swear I would have used them, but I didn't have enough time to go into the actual end, find the end city again, and get them. After all that time, I think I was actually able to make this dragon egg look like it was meant to be here, as well as make it look like it was stealing my island, but that's besides the point. Overall, I'm very happy about how this area turned out and how our entire island mess turned out. But I think it's time we move on to day 100, signifying our survival of 100 days in one block. The last day, I wanted to give you all a very peaceful and calming tour of our island. Everything that we've built over the last 100 days really means a lot, and I think we've accomplished so much. For all of you that stuck around, thank you guys for watching the entire video all the way through, and I hope to see you on the next one. As well as if you haven't already, go make sure to check out Dragon City down below in the description, or check out the pinned comment. I would love to see you guys post your dragons in my Discord, so also join that as well. Link down below in the description. And overall, if you think I've accomplished the goal of surviving 100 days on OneBlock Skyblock and even thrived throughout these 100 days, then make sure to hit that like button down below, as well as subscribe to the channel. Any little bit helps, and I hope you guys truly have a great rest of your day. Peace out, Eagle Scout, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.